Hi, I'm Sam, your inner voice and self-trust coach for women who refuse to choose between career success and being fully present with their kids. This is Journal Entries, where we break free from self-sabotage, reconnect with our inner wisdom, and live truly fulfilled lives in both of our roles. Let's dive in. Real quick before we dive in, I am hosting my first in-person workshop in over a year and a half, and I am genuinely so excited to be teaming up with Meraki Beauty for the perfect location and vibe. On Sunday, September 21st, we are hosting the Permission Slips for Ambitious Women workshop, and it's all about stopping that cycle where you know what you want but feel guilty for actually choosing it, or you're so disconnected from what you want because you've been busy helping other people for so long that you need some help discovering what lights you up with permission to pursue it without disappointing others. We are going deep with strategic journaling and a guided meditation so that you can start living for yourself just as much as how you show up for others in your life. There are only 12 spots and it includes mimosas. It's $25 to reserve your seat. So if you're in Western New York and you are tired of putting everyone else first, come join us. I would love to see you there. The link to join is in the show notes. All right, back to the show. Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's podcast episode or journal entry. First and foremost, Griffin may or may not pop in during this episode. I'm recording it during his 2-week break, well, actually a 4-week break, before he starts his Montessori program, which actually starts in a couple days. So just busting out a couple episodes before then. But I didn't want to wait any longer to record this episode because it's relevant and just kind of on my heart. And I wanted to, those are always like the best episodes. I wanted to share what's relevant for me. And I'm wondering if it's relevant to you. And so what happened pretty recently was my business coach asked me, what would you do on a random Tuesday if you could do anything in the world? And she was asking me this question so that I could try and I think get some new ideas for my business and just kind of open up my horizons in lots of different ways. And I don't know what she was expecting. I think she was again trying to get me to answer like, oh, I would love to, wake up and then maybe play with my son and then at 10 a.m. plug into my business and do this and maybe coach a couple clients, but then I would really love to post into a community, just something businessy. But instead, my answer was like my ideal Tuesday. If money weren't an issue, I would wake up, I would drink a matcha, I would watch reality TV, maybe not in the morning, but like by noon, I would turn on reality TV, I would go for a walk, I would read a book, I would do some plaster art, I would journal, I would cook an actual recipe for dinner that's like multiple steps. I wouldn't just put chicken and veggies in my air fryer. I would have wine, I would take a long shower, I would go to bed early at like 8:30 or 9. And as I was rattling these things off, I honestly was kind of like, oh no, what does this mean about me? A, does it mean I'm depressed? B, am I just burnt out maybe from my business or life? Both seemed a little scary. Or am I ungrateful? Which also I kind of felt sad about that. Like, am I ungrateful for my clients, for my business, for my time freedom that I have right now? And so I journaled on it. I was like, what does this mean? And after reflecting and journaling, I realized that A, I'm human. All of those things that I rattled off are things that I think just humans need, right? Humans crave. But even more so, I realized that B, all of those things had one thing in common, and it was that I was receiving something from them. And if you're listening right now thinking, all of that sounds amazing, Sam, like you want the same thing that I do, your nervous system is trying to tell you something. And it's the same thing that my nervous system is telling me. And it's that we've been giving and creating and strategizing for everyone else but also maybe for your business too, and for the things that you do care about, but not your soul self, if that makes sense. And doing all of this for so long that we've forgotten how to receive. We're running on empty and just kind of feeling maybe numb or on edge, wondering what else is out there, even when good things happen. And those good things might be you sign up a new client, or maybe your kid sleeps through the night all the way through. Or I don't know, maybe your partner makes dinner for you and surprises you, and then he also cleans up the dishes. You got a promotion at work. So, like, good things are happening, but you still have that, I don't know, that emptiness feeling or that question of, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Or with that sleeping through the night example, we almost dismiss it of, great, I hope it happens again. Like that's just a one-off type thing. We're not able to really lean in to the tiny magical moments that we have. There are so many ways that we can receive. At first, when I was journaling and I had this realization, I was honestly a little surprised because I used to think that receiving was receiving help and support, which is very important. And I could do a whole other episode just on asking for help and then receiving help. That's two very different things. But this opened my eyes to realizing that, yes, we can receive support from other people. Like right now, my aunt is over here watching Griffin while I'm recording this podcast. So hopefully he doesn't walk in. So we're receiving support, but there's other types of receiving. And I'm going to give you some ideas so that while you're listening, you can kind of go through your own life, but also what you're going through right now and maybe some of the goals that you have, and kind of pinpoint what are some things that you might want to receive. And as I'm saying these things, I think you might have a little ping in your nervous system of like, ooh, that would feel so nice. And that's telling you that's your nervous system telling you. Hello, Griffin.
Can you tie that?
You want me to tie your balloon? But once I tie it, you won't be able to untie it.
Okay.
Let's go, okay? Okay. What was I saying? I was talking about your nervous system. Okay, so I'm going to go through this list. And yeah, the things that kind of ping your nervous system are the things that you might need. I was going to say it a lot better, but we're just going to run with that. Okay, so here are some ideas of ways that we can receive physical things. When I was journaling and just rattling off about how I want that matcha and a real meal with steps and a recipe to make and like drinking lots of water, things like that, those are receiving nourishment. Maybe when I was talking about like going for a walk, or also sometimes I dream about the perfect evening routine, which includes stretching. Or maybe for you, you want to start dancing again, or the desire to actually want to work out, like you want to exercise. So movement without an agenda. That is a way that you can receive physically. Actual sleep, lying down, sitting still, rest is physical receiving. And also touch, whether that be massage, a warm shower, soft clothes. Griffin loves cozy clothes. Like he literally will only wear cozy clothes. It's so funny because I thought I was going to have a kid that dresses super cute, and he literally will not wear jeans or any like fashionable clothing. I also pictured myself having a kid that eats a variety of foods because I eat a variety of foods. I never pictured myself having a picky eater, and he's also a picky eater. Almost every meal, he eats beige foods, like tan foods, like pasta, rolls, cheese stick. Anyways, I'm getting off track. Receiving. So other ways we can receive is mental. These examples are things like entertainment that requires zero brain power, things like reality TV or romance novels. I've talked a little bit about how some mornings I replace my personal development books with romance novels. And I honestly feel so much more energized and happy doing that than my morning grind of just waking up, pre workout, and listening to or reading some personal development. Other ways of receiving mentally is learning for pure pleasure. Oh, that was another thing I didn't mention earlier. I wrote down on my random Tuesday afternoon that I want to spend time listening to a podcast for fun or reading or taking a course for fun and just learning about something that I actually want to learn about and not have to apply it to what I'm doing for work. So maybe that's true for you, or watching a random documentary, an interesting book. Also, silence. This is so important to me. But no podcasts, no music, just quiet and stillness. Another form of mental receiving is beauty, like art, nature, and aesthetically pleasing spaces as well. Also, emotional receiving, things like support from others. And also, it's not just accepting support from others, but we receive support by giving. I was talking to my business coach. This was, oh my gosh, probably a year ago. And I was telling her how some clients, when I'm on one calls, I love coaching. But at the very end of these calls, I feel so drained and I literally need to take a nap, 1 to 2 hour naps after my coaching calls. And I was just asking her, how do you not feel so drained after pouring into your clients? And she said that she views coaching as not just giving, because we're obviously giving and pouring into these people, but also receiving. That at the same time that we are giving our energy and expertise and all of that, there is an energy flow from the client back to us where we are receiving from them. They are giving us their energy, their trust, their feedback, all of the things. And at the time, I remember being like, okay, but really, like sometimes they're complaining, sometimes they're venting. But after I actually started practicing that and envisioned receiving during these calls, it was a game changer. I actually started receiving support and like compliments from my clients. It was amazing. Also, you can receive emotionally from your own feelings by just processing your feelings and journaling and not trying to fix them, but just being aware of them and celebrating. Again, just acknowledging wins, big, small, tiny, those tiny magical moments that I mentioned earlier, like your kids sleeping through the night, even if they're few and far between. Really allow yourself to feel so happy that that happened. And like, how much more energy did you have in the morning when you got that full night's sleep? I don't know if anyone else is dealing with kids not sleeping through the night. I still am. And it is crazy how, like, I wake up before my alarm when I get a full night's sleep and my son isn't waking up in the middle of the night. But when he wakes up in the middle of the night, I am literally dragging. Even if he wakes up once in the middle of the night, it is night and day between how I feel in the morning. So soak that in when you get something, even the tiniest thing that is good that happens anytime throughout your day. The last thought that I wanted to pass your way with receiving is creative receiving. This kind of refers to, or definitely refers to, when I was talking about when I wanted to make plaster art. So making something with your hands, it could be art, it could be cooking, gardening, anything. Also playing without purpose. This could be doodling. I actually, right before I logged off of social media for my social media hiatus, I started seeing a few accounts doing, gosh, I forget what the actual name of it is. It's like art therapy, but I'm having both my hands up by my face right now. But you have like a crayon or marker in both hands, your left hand and your right hand, and you draw at the same exact time on a sheet of paper. I'm drawing circles right now in the air. And so it's like at the same time, I'll have to look up what that's called. But that is supposed to be very healing, and you're not drawing anything in particular. You're just kind of going all over the page, and that's supposed to help your brain with something therapeutic. But this could also be singing, dancing for fun, and just following any curiosity that you have and exploring random interests. So if any of that piqued your interest, I encourage you to take one of those things, not all of them, just one, and actually do that thing and see how it feels. I was going to say that I guarantee, but I am pretty positive that you will feel like it's not just another item on your to-do list. You're going to feel rejuvenated, refreshed, more energized, like you're more creative. And then that ripple effect is the next thing that you do afterwards. You're going to be able to pour into that with all of those things too, with more energy, with more focus, with more creativity, with more passion, with more joy, whether that be walking in from work and you're in mom mode, or with your partner, or if you're still at work, doing all of that, pouring all of that back into your work. So often we focus on how we're not asking for help or what it is that we aren't doing, right? Like we all have to-do lists, or most of us have to-do lists, and we're focused on what we didn't yet accomplish. And we just keep adding to the to-do list. And therefore, we're not receiving, or we're not focused on what we are receiving. But I think that we're not actually afraid of receiving. We're afraid of what receiving help means about us. And we're afraid almost of what focusing on receiving means. So maybe it's not even just the act of receiving. It's if I'm focused on asking for help, that takes away my control. I can control the actions that I'm doing. I can't control if somebody says yes to helping me. I can't control the receiving some of those things that I just went through. Although the list that I shared was pretty much things that you can do, that you can receive for yourself. But think about that. When your friend offers you to bring you dinner after a tough week, what is your first thought? Now, you might say, yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But your first thought, or maybe the second thought, is probably something like, I should be able to handle this myself. I should be able to have a tough week and still make dinner. Other moms are doing it. Or maybe I don't want to be a burden. I'm accepting this, but I feel bad because she has to make extra, right? But when that same friend asks you to bring her dinner, you're honored. You feel needed. You don't think that she's weak or incapable. You're just thinking of how you are contributing, and it feels really good. The key here that I hope that you take away is that you have been treating receiving like evidence of failure instead of evidence of being human. And I've been doing the same thing. That's my whole realization, is that I've been kind of like pushing receiving like off to the wayside. And it's been making me feel in control, incapable. And when I do receive, it feels like maybe not failure. That feels like a really big word, but it feels like I can't do it myself. It feels like I'm letting someone down, myself or my son or my future self. I don't know. But remember, and this is the reminder I'm giving to myself, that every time we say, I've got it, when we don't actually have got it, we're not being strong. We are training everyone around us that we don't need anything, that we're good. And then we wonder why we feel so alone in our success or alone in motherhood. Our nervous systems aren't just craving a nap or reality TV. That's what we think. That's what we think that we crave, but it's actually craving the experience of being supported, of receiving, of not having to figure everything out by yourself, of being the person who gets to receive care instead of just giving it. And reality TV and that nap is just an easy way for our brains to comprehend what that might feel like. That scrolling that you do at the end of the day is literally the only time that you're receiving anything right now, like mindless entertainment. And it's because it's the only thing that doesn't require you to prove that you deserve it first. I feel like that was a mic drop moment. Okay, so now I want to give you a challenge. Your challenge is to design your own receiving day. Not your productive day, not your family day, not your ideal to-do list day. It's your receiving day. What would be on your receiving day? You can rewind and listen to some of the options that I gave you, but also just the same prompt that I received earlier of if you were to have a full day to do anything that you wanted. And notice, on my day, my son was not a part of it. When I was writing down the things that I wanted to do, it did cross my mind of, oh, geez, should my son be a part of this? Should I want to go to a playground with him? But it wasn't a genuine, authentic desire. So I didn't write it down. And I'm giving you permission to only write down the things that you genuinely want to do. So what is on your receiving day? And then notice what resistance comes up. Do you have that same fear of, oh, this should be on there or this shouldn't be on there? Maybe you have that thought of reality TV should not be on there. The things that come up is your nervous system telling you exactly what it needs. And also the fears that comes up and the shoulds that come up, those are the blocks that you have that are also guiding you towards what you need to work through in order to achieve what you want. It almost feels like they're protections. It's almost like a coat that's keeping us nice and cozy of oh, no, I can't watch reality TV. That's keeping me from being productive if I were to do that during lunchtime. That's my time to answer emails. But if you can take that coat off and actually start to question that and pull that apart, you will feel so free and liberated and start to get to design your day differently in a way that feels so much better and so much less like a life that you should be living, that you are going to live a life that just feels so much better. And you're going to show that to your kids, to your employees, to whoever it is that's a part of your life. I would love to see what is on your receiving day list. So when you come up with that, feel free to email it to me. I'll include my email in the show notes, or feel free to send it to me over on Facebook or Instagram. And if you like this challenge of your receiving day and the prompts that I have for you, sign up for my newsletter. I send out a strategic journal prompt flow every single Tuesday. The link to sign up for that is www.samanthapencoff.com/prompts. I'll include that link in the show notes as well. But I've been getting incredible feedback from the newsletters that I do send out. I try to be really authentic and funny, and they aren't like every other email in your inbox. I promise you that. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you on Thursday for a journaling session on how to unlock your receiving blocks. It is a complimentary session to today's episode. Thanks again, and I will see you soon. Thanks for joining me for today's journal entry. If something resonated with you, I'd love to know about it. Screenshot this episode, share it on social media, and tag me at samantha.s.says. Or even leave a review, which will help more women find this podcast to create more fulfillment in their career and as a mom. And hey, if you're thinking, I wish I could get more of this, I've got you covered. Click on the link in the show notes, which I customize each week based on what we're talking about. And I always include the link to the Calm Mind Blueprint, which are my 5 journal prompts to go from overwhelm to inner peace in 2 to 10 minutes a day. Subscribe so that you catch my Thursday 5-minute journal with me episodes and next week's full episode where we will continue this journey together. I'll see you then.